So today is day 13. Yesterday on day 12, we put the upper cabinets to the right of the sink in. The first thing we did our 2x4 on the bottom. We screwed the 2x4 into our studs. We marked the studs. Then we flipped the cabinet upside down. We cut the notch out for our under cabinet lighting. So what we do is we use a spade bit. We mark where the cabinet lighting wire will be based on where it is on the wall. We use a spade bit. In this case, we used a 3/4 inch spade bit, drilled the hole, and then kind of used a handsaw to to notch out the hole. So now the under cabinet wire will fit underneath the cabinet. Once we did that, then we mounted the cabinet up. The first thing we did was we put the lighter cabinet up. We screwed it into the studs, one below and one above. The next thing we did was we lifted the second cabinet up. Then we used our C-clamps to clamp the cabinets together, and we screwed 3 screws into the first cabinet. Once that's in place and the cabinet is level, then we screwed the bigger cabinet, hitting the studs. The other thing we did was we're starting the same process on this wall over here. We put our 2x4 in, we hit our studs, then we lifted we cut our our notch for our underwire lighting, and then we lifted the cabinet up into place. Before we did that, we wanted to put a 1-inch spacer. This 1-inch spacer is, the reason why we have this 1-inch spacer is because when the cabinet door opens, it would hit the frame of the door. So by adding a 1-inch spacer, the door would open and not hit the trim of the door. So we added that in. We screwed into the spacer, attached it to the frame of the cabinet, and then we lifted the cabinet in and installed the cabinet. The last thing that we did was we put the microwave in place. So there are a few steps that we had to take with the microwave. Basically how a under cabinet mounted microwave works is there is a L bracket below. You can't really see it. It's like an L bracket. It's the width. This is a 30-inch microwave. So a L bracket, that's the length of 30 inches. The L part will screw into the studs. So you screw it into the studs, and then the bottom part of the L is where the microwave sits on it. The few things that we had to take into consideration, one was the height of the microwave that we have dictates where we will mount the bracket, that L bracket, onto the wall. So the other thing that we had to take into consideration was for this particular microwave, there are 2 screws, 2 long bolts that sit that we had to drill from the upper cabinets, and it screws into the microwave. So we had to figure out where the holes were on top of the microwave relative to the cabinet, drill the holes for the cabinet, and then we could bring those anchor bolts down and secure the microwave to the upper cabinet. The third hole that we had to make was one for the plug. So we had to figure out where the microwave plug is kind of in the middle of the upper part of the microwave. Sometimes you'll see microwaves where the plug is coming out the back. This microwave, the plug is actually coming out the top. So we had to figure out where the microwave plug is relative to the cabinet, drill the hole, and then we fed the plug up into the upper cabinet. So this is where we will plug it in to that outlet. So here are kind of a few diagrams that we made. This is the top of the microwave. Here are 2 anchor bolt holes. This is the back, so we thought it was easier to do it based on the back wall, and then do the distances of the anchor bolt holes in the cabinet, and then coordinated that with the cabinet to drill our holes. So we just used a spade bit to drill the holes. So that is yesterday for day 12. For day 13, what we're going to do is we're going to put the Lazy Susan in place. The next thing we're going to have to do is we're going to have to determine the holes for the drain in the sink basin. We're going to have to determine the holes that we'll need for the water pipes. And then we'll also need 2 holes on the side. One for the water line that goes into the dishwasher, and then also 1 hole for the drain line that comes out of the dishwasher that goes into the garbage disposal and out the drain. And then the last thing will be the plug for our hot water heater that we'll have under the sink. And then the other things that we're planning to do today is we have a refrigerator wall panel that goes on each side of the refrigerator. To do, at first we thought about doing all the upper cabinets first and then doing the lower cabinets. But in this case, we're going to have to do the upper cabinet, then the lower cabinet, and then we can move this refrigerator wall into place. And then we'll continue down this wall. Blaine is using a countersink fit so that the head of the screw will be flush with the cabinet and not prevent issues with the drawer. He's used 2 clamps to clamp the 2 cabinets together. He is also very careful when drilling the pilot hole for the screw as to not drill into the front face of the cabinet. So he's using his hand as a guide to make sure the drill doesn't go through the cabinet. So we are at the end of day 13. We secured the cabinet above the refrigerator as well as both the refrigerator panels. Then we connected the bottom 15-inch cabinet. Once we did that, then we secured this panel, or this cabinet, and both the panels to the wall. And then we finally secured this cabinet. Once we did that, then we started shimming. So made sure that the top is level in the front and making sure the top is level on the back. The other thing we did was to make sure that the fronts of the cabinet were also level, because you don't want one cabinet sticking up and then one cabinet like pushed back too far. So we made sure that those were also lined from the fronts. We started with the Lazy Susan. We secured it into the wall, and then we secured the sink into the Lazy Susan and then also into the wall. Once we did that, we made sure that this was level. We secured these 2 cabinets together and then screwed those 2 into the wall. And then we finally did this cabinet here. We made sure that the front and the backs were level here, and then also the fronts were level. Then we secured this cabinet by itself to the wall. The things that you have to make sure that the stove and oven is 30 inches wide, standard. And then the dishwasher is 24 inches wide, so we made sure we had our gaps here. The next things that we have to do is put the island in place, and also we have to, our peninsula is 2 upper cabinets that we're going to put in a box and raise up, and then have it level with the rest of the base cabinets. So today is day 14. So far what we've done is we've installed this fan light. It wasn't too difficult to do, just kind of follow the instructions. There are a few YouTube videos. What you do is basically just anchor the bracket into studs and also into the junction box. After that point, you hook up all the wiring and assemble the fan on the ground, on the floor, and then once you do that, then you lift it into the bracket. And then you use some wire nuts to wire the power line with the light fixture. So that part was pretty simple. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to add a finished board panel on the back of the peninsula and also with the island. So we're going to add some shim pieces along the back to make it a solid back. and then we're going to add a finished board panel that we bought from the cabinet place. The other thing is that this Peninsula, it's a 30-inch upper cabinet, and the base cabinets are all 34.5 inches. So we're going to have to build a 4.5-inch platform for this Peninsula cabinet to stand on.